When Jesus walked on water and the disciples saw him, Peter said, "Lord, if it's you, bid me to come unto you on the water." And Jesus said, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" So Peter put his eyes on Jesus, and then he was able to walk on the water. A miracle happened because he had his eyes on Jesus and his faith was great. But then the circumstances of his life manifested before him, right? The everyday humanly things we experience. He sees that the wind was boisterous. He sees that there was a crazy storm. He sees that he is but a man and there are elements around him that are putting him in danger. So the moment he focused on that, his circumstances, rather than focusing on the Lord, he began to sink. But still, even in the sinking, he did what he should have done, which is he cried to the Lord and said, "Lord, save me." And Jesus immediately saved him. So the Lord will always save us when we cry out to him. This happened throughout all the Old Testament, okay? Israel, the nation of Israel, the people of Israel, the tribes, they sinned against God so much it's embarrassing to count how much. And yet time and time again we see how the Lord rescued them again. He still punished them for sin. He still did pour out his wrath on them. He did. He let them live out curses that he told them that they would experience if they chose death and sin versus if they chose life and blessing. And yet still, even through them being punished and even through them experiencing the curses and even through them to their own fault, okay, we all do this to our own fault, turn away from God. Every time they turn back and put their eye on him, he saved them. Because that's literally all he's ever asking, is to look unto him for our salvation, because it comes from no one else. So he immediately saves him. But after he saved him, he does also give him a lesson and say, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And we all go through personal tests like this throughout all of our lives. And there's levels to those tests, and they change and they go. And as I was reading that, what came to my heart was 2 Corinthians 12:9, which is when Paul is on his missionary tasks, and he is going through his own testing, right? And he said he had a thorn in the flesh from Satan, and he was praying to God that it would be taken away from him. He said 3 times he prayed for the Lord that whatever Satan was doing to him, that it would be taken away. He had some kind of ailment. He had some kind of thing that was just in the flesh he was struggling with. And what did the Lord say? And this is what came to my mind when reading that walking on water story with Peter. He said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." So, that's why Paul then says, "So therefore I gladly glory in my infirmities," means I glorify God in my infirmities, like in my weaknesses, in my struggles, in my fears, in my situation, even if it's a physical thing that you're going through, like even a physical weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. It's because you're always humble enough to admit that you need the Lord. Because he's even just up here literally been explaining how he does not want to be exalted above measure, right? Because he's being blessed with gifts, he's being blessed with revelation, he's being blessed with all these things. And yet he's like, lest I should be exalted above measure, because you always need to stay grounded, there was given to him a thorn in the flesh. And again, everyone each to their level of faith and level of testing, because the Lord knows. He knows that what are going to be the things that are your tests versus somebody else's, or your struggles versus somebody else's. And sometimes he will allow that, like he did for Paul. He allowed that thorn in his side so that he would not Maybe if he had had that thorn gone, he may have started to boast or exalt himself above measure, right? So all of this is to understand that God knows exactly what we need. God knows exactly what problems we have. But you need to actually go to him to them. The point is not that he knows already so you don't have to say anything. The point is that you go to him for everything. You call out to him. He's waiting for you to call out to him. He's waiting for you to show that you trust in him. You know? You literally just need to actually call out to him. And in the honesty, it's not about getting the prayer perfect. It's not about doing something perfectly. He will perfect you anyway. You're a work that he is going to perfect. But that's a sanctification process that can take your whole life. The point is, are you continually picking up your cross and carrying it every day so that he can sanctify you, so that he can work with you? Or are you working against him and just running away? His grace is sufficient for us, and his strength is made perfect in our weakness. This is something never to forget, because every time something incredible happens, every good decision you make, every blessing you have in your life, all glory is to the Lord. And he's waiting for you to glorify him so that his strength can be made perfect in your weakness. Because there are things in life that cannot be done other than by God. And when you give him the just and met praise for that, and not to somebody else, not to yourself, not to an idol, not to another human being, not to a thing, not to money, not to whatever it is, but you give the glory to God as he so deserves it, it can only, it just continues. He will continue to always have you, hold you in his arms. Call out to the Lord. Stop running away from him. Stop ignoring him. He can handle whatever it is that you have to say, or whatever it is you're trying to hide. He sees it anyway. He can handle it. What he's waiting to see is, are you going to call out to him when you're in the sinking ship? Are you going to call out to Jesus, or are you going to try and save yourself, which you can't do? Call out to him, for his yoke is easy and his burden is light.